Good day, everybody. My name is George Mladenov. I'm from FXCM. I'm an account executive, and today I'll be going through the FXCM Metatrader 4 advanced walkthrough. So today we'll be going a little bit more advanced as to previous webinars that we've had on MT4. And this is due to popular demand, as well as the fact that we've had a couple, and actually we have some of the videos on YouTube as well. So if you're still a beginner on Metatrader 4, you can go onto our YouTube channel, where you'll be able to find our Metatrader 4 beginner walkthrough. You also have available to you Facebook and Twitter. Any information that you might find relevant there, we are on those platforms as well. So I'm just going to run through the risk disclaimer first. As I said before, you can ask me questions below, but if I do miss them, please feel free to send me an email at gmladenov, MLADENOV, at fxcm.za.com. So here at the bottom you can see it. Otherwise, I'm just going to jump in straight to the disclaimer now, and then we'll do some things on the platform. So past performance is not indicative of future results. Examples are displayed for illustrative purposes only and do not guarantee profits. Trading on margin can result in losses that may exceed your deposited funds. Please ensure that you fully understand the risks or seek investment advice if necessary. FXCM provides an execution-only service. Any analysis, opinion, commentary, or research-based material contained in this presentation is for information and educational purposes only, and is not intended to be an offer, recommendation, or solicitation to buy or sell. Leverage is a double-edged sword and can dramatically amplify your profits. It can also just as dramatically amplify your losses. Trading foreign exchange with any level of leverage may not be suitable for all investors. Okay, and let's go to the next one. Okay, the webinar does not have regard to specific investment objectives, financial situations, and needs of any specific person who may receive it. All videos are provided for educational purposes only, and clients should not rely on the content or policies as they may differ with regards to the entity that you're trading with. Further, any opinions, analysis, prices, or other information contained in this website is provided for educational purposes and does not constitute investment advice. FXCM will not accept liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation to any loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use of or reliance on such information. Okay, so let's jump into the platform. Okay, so here we have Metatrader 4. So I mean, today I'll be running through, the more advanced stuff. Not that it gets too complicated, but a little bit more advanced. I will cover some of the basics as well, purely because they're just very important. They're basic, but a lot of people overlook them, and it creates quite a few problems in terms of people trading. So I'll just go through some of the simple things as well. But let's just start off with logging in, which is a simple one but very important. So say we want to log into our trade account, we put in our username and password, but what usually happens is people input the incorrect server, and thus they'll see there's no prices fluctuating here, and they'll see here at the bottom that it says no connection, as well as their graph will say no connection or loading or something of the sort. That could be either due to your internet connection, or this will be because of your incorrect server that you've chosen. Okay, but here we've chosen the right one, and obviously you would prefer to say save account information so you don't run the risk of choosing incorrect server. Okay, but I've logged in already, so I'm here. Okay, and here we have our market watch, our navigator, which is for indicators and scripts and EAs. Here we have our terminal, which is more of our account information that we focus on. This has all been gone through in the previous MT4 beginners webinars. Just to let you know, For the symbols, again, right click, say symbols, and then here you can add and remove them. Pretty straightforward. Now this is here is your spread, okay, and this is an important one because obviously it's what you it's a cost that you incur for trading. You pay the spread, which is actually in this case it's not actually 11, it's 1/10 of 11. Okay, that's another thing about MT4 that sometimes confuses people. They'll see this 11 and they'll be like, oh, wow, 11, a spread of 11, it's crazy. But it's not the case. This is 1/10 of this number. Okay, so that's one thing to remember. Now, if you don't have your spread here, you just right click and you click spread and it'll show up. Obviously, I just hid it now, but it's hidden now. So I just right click and I say spread and it'll show me my spread. Remember to divide by 10 here. Okay. Now, regarding your indicators, we're going to add some. Obviously, this is simple stuff as well, but some strategies involve overlapping indicators. For example, like a stochastic with different speeds of the movement. So this is something that can actually occur. So pretty much what will happen is now that I'll just go through some of the things regarding placing a trade. So if we say place a trade and we select volume. Now the volume is one of the most important things in trading. This is your lot size, okay? So in Forex, as you guys know, that there's a minimum trade requirements of 1,000. So you're trading 1,000 of a certain currency at a time, and this is what we refer to lot sizes. Now, in Metatrader 4, 0.01 means 1,000 lot sizes, okay? I mean a lot size of 1,000, okay? So when you're trading 0.01, it means that you're actually trading 1,000 at a time, okay? And that's the minimum trade size. The maximum trade size is a standard lot, which is 100K, which in MT4 is depicted as 1.0. Then obviously in the middle you get the mini lot, which is 10K, and that is 0.1. Usually you have to type it in because it doesn't actually have it down here in the drop down, so you just type in 0.1. Okay, so that's your volumes. Now obviously we spoke about this before in the previous one, but I just want to mention it again. If your symbols are not updating, this could be either because of your internet connection, or your server is incorrect, or you are showing all your symbols. So your watch list will be full, and this could be a reason why they're not refreshing efficiently. So what you'll have to do is you'll just have to say hide all. It won't hide all of them. It'll hide most of them. It'll leave you with 2 or 3, and then you can play with it after that. But pretty much that's what happens if your prices are not updating. Server, internet connection, or too many symbols. Okay. Now in terms of your platform customization, obviously we'll go back into the trades and stuff. But in terms of in terms of graph customization and platform customization, you can actually move this stuff anywhere you want. Okay, you can play with it like this. You can make your graphs like so. If you want to add more graphs, you just chart. Go here, create new chart, and then you'll choose from your symbols list what you want. Okay. Obviously, it has to be in your symbols list before you open it. So as you could see in our symbols list, these are the 3 that we have, and that's why when I'm looking to open a chart, it's the same one. So if I want to trade, for example, the pound and the dollar, I'll have to first go add it here, and I'll find it here, and then it'll show up over here so that I can open it. Very easy concept. So now, like what I just did, I just closed my market watch, and a lot of people will start stressing. You just really have to go view, you go market watch, and there we go. It's nothing major. Okay, so I mean this is just how you play with your platform. You just select it and you move it. With the graphs, you saw there that there's this minimize window, and you can minimize it. Okay, so I mean I like to have it like it was before. Okay, I'm just making this smaller. Obviously, I like to have it like this. Usually, it comes standard like that, but you know, to each his own. So if you decide you want it differently, you can do it. So now let's place some like a trade. The reason why is obviously we've gone through stop loss and take profits. You can see that in the other video that we have on YouTube, as mentioned before. One thing I do want to touch on is the type of execution order, which is a pending order. So you get pending orders, which are conditional orders, where you say, for example, at a certain price, you want it to buy or to sell. Okay, you want to buy or to sell when it reaches that price. Okay, and you can set an expiry date. So if it doesn't reach the price at a certain before a certain point, after that point, it will cancel the order. So I mean, this could be done based on a news event. So if the news event's sentiment has run its course, and you believe that the sentiment's not going to last after the 20th, you'll just go here and you'll say the 20th, and that's when it will expire. Okay, but now one of the most important thing about pending orders on MT4 is selecting the correct type. Okay, and I'll just run through the types for you. Let's start with the buy limit. This is what you'll select if you want to buy the currency on a conditional order at a lower price than the current one. Okay. The sell limit, this is when you want to sell at a higher price than the current one. Stop buy or buy stop, this is when you want to buy at a higher price than the current one. Stop sell or sell stop is when you want to sell at a lower price than the current one. So I'm just going to run through it again because, again, very important. If you don't do that, if you don't select it correctly, it will give you an off quote error or like an error code 136, and your trade won't be able to be placed, and you'll just get frustrated. So buy limit, you want to buy at a lower price than the current one. Sell limit, you want to sell at a higher price than the current one. Buy stop, you want to buy at a higher price than the current one. Sell stop, you want to sell at a lower price than the current one. Okay, so these are the ones that you select. Okay, and then you'll obviously place your trade, and then the pending order will be placed. Okay, now if you get an off quote error, which happens a lot of the time, or error code 136, there's a couple of reasons why this can happen. Okay, the first reason is that the best price for the pair being traded is not within the set out maximum deviation range. So what does this mean? Now let's go place the order. We say we place it and it gives us an error. What this maximum deviation from quoted price means is that you're giving leeway in the price of the currency, or the commodity. You're giving leeway plus or minus this amount of pips when placing the trade. So you're placing the trade and you're allowing the market to move up or down 80 pips, in order to place the trade. So that means that your trade can be executed at 80 pips plus or minus the current price. Okay, this is all nice and it's all good, but the problem is with Metatrader 4 is that 80 pips here does not mean 80 pips in real life. So 80 pips here on Metatrader 4 actually means 8 pips in real life. So this 80 actually means 8. So if we make 10 pips here, this means that we're actually only giving the market 1 pip, leeway up or down to execute the trade. So if you want to give 10 pips leeway, so if you want to execute the trade at the current price or 10 pips above or below the current price, you'd have to put in 100 pips. Okay, this is another very important thing in terms of Metatrader 4. It's similar to the whole volume concept, where it doesn't indicate the exact amount. 10 pips on maximum deviation is actually 100 pips here in Metatrader 4. Okay, so that's just another thing to remember. Okay, that's a good reason why you will get the off-quote error. Most of the reasons why you'd get an off-quote error. Okay, another reason why you might get an off-quote error is that if you are using an EA, an expert advisor / a robot, and And it can occur also when you're modifying orders during hours that the market is not open. Okay, so the market is closed and your EA is maybe trying to execute trades, or you yourself are trying to execute trades. It'll give you an off code error because the market is not open. Okay, so that's another very important thing to remember. It could be also due to volatility, or when spreads have widened out, so liquidity, or it could be that the fact that when you placing your stop loss and your take profit over here, when you're defining it here, it's in terms of a rate. It's not in terms of pips. And what some people like to do, or not even that they like to do it, they don't even realize it, but they'll say they want to put their stop loss at 10. Okay, at 10 pips. But the stop loss is not considering pips. It's only considering rates. So you'll have to say, for example, 1.4600. That's the rate at which your stop loss will be. So over here, where was it? I just saw it now. This is where your stop loss would be here. Okay. So it's not in terms of pips, it's in terms of rates, your stop loss and your take profit. So that's a reason why you might get an error. Okay. Now, here we have our terminal. We've discussed it before, but let's just run through it again. Here you have your balance, your equity, and your free margin that you have to work with. And here your trades. This is where you see your trades. Okay. So I'm going to quickly place a trade. Okay. I'm just going to place a mini lot. I'm going to buy it. Okay. And okay, if you're in this situation where you're kind of in the middle of nowhere on your graph, you just go up here and you'll see there's like a little graph with a play button, and you just click it and it takes me right to the beginning of my graph. Okay, if I've clicked that and I go along and I'm trying to look at historical prices, it's going to jump me back to here. Okay, back to the normal, to the current price. So if I want to remove that, I'll just click it like I have now, and then I'm able to go back as much as I want. Okay, but I'm going to click it again because I want it here. So here's my trade. Okay, now as you can see, my trade is over here. It's telling me the time, the type, the size, etc., etc. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to partially close the position. And ideally, you want this not when you're making losses, but when you're making profits. And what it's usually for is, to lock in your profits. So say you've reached a certain amount of profits and you're like, cool, I've broken even. I just want to close partially, but I also want to see how much I can ride this wave. So what I'll do is I'll partially close so that I can lock in my profits, and then I'll use the rest of my profits, to try see where the trend will take me. Okay. So what I do is, here I've placed the order of 0.1. So now I want to partially close. I'll right click, just like you always do, close order. Okay. Sorry. Okay, it's not giving. I just closed it completely. Okay. Let's just. I think it's because I have one-click trading. Let's see. Okay, I don't know why it's giving me a hard time here. Sometimes it can do this. Okay, for some reason it's not showing it to me. But usually what happens is that your chart will show up. You get this over here, or not your chart, your order page, and you'll see here it says close position in yellow. Okay, you'll see it here. So when you click it in yellow here, it'll close your full position. Now, if you want to close half of it, for example, you'll just go to your volume and you'll type in 0.05, which is half, and then you'll see here that it still gives me in yellow to close it, and when I close it, it'll have the trade of 0.05 here, the open trade that is still happening. Okay, I don't know why it's not doing it. Yeah, it's a bit strange. It could be the internet connection or something else. I'm not sure. Okay. So now, if we carry on, now if you want to modify your trade, you can just click here, double click it, and you'll be able to see your stop losses and things like that. Or you can actually just right click and you can put in a trailing stop here, for example. So I mean, it's just all from this trade panel over here. Okay. Or you can just right click here and you can say modify or delete order, and it'll allow you to input your various things. Okay. So now that's in terms of your stop losses and your take profits. Okay. Now the merging of indicators. Okay. I have a lot of guys who ask me about this, especially because there's a decent amount of strategies that implement it. My favorite one is the stochastics, and it's usually for scalping, so I'm just going to use that in this case. So what you do is you go find your stochastic under your navigator pane, you click and you drag it, and you say, okay, so our inputs are 533, okay? Simple enough. Okay, so here it was overbought, and it told us to sell, so obviously we can see that it was quite congruent with the indicator. Now, with what I like to do is I like to add another 2 with slower moving lines. Okay, so I'll go to stochastic again and I'll drag it. I won't drag it over here onto the graph. I'll drag it here onto the stochastic indicator. Okay, and for example, I'll make this. Let's make it 10, for example, just for simplicity's sake. What I usually do is I have it on like a minute chart, and I make it a 3-minute, a 5-minute, and a 10-minute. You can obviously play with it as much as you want, but for now I'm just, for simplicity's sake, making it a 10. Okay. Colors, obviously you want it more easy to pick up, so I'll edit that as well. The red, make it purple, and then we click OK, and then you have another stochastic over here, with a different speed of its movement. Okay, so it's the same concept. Another stochastic, inputs, make it a 15 for simplicity's sake. Remember, this is just for simplicity's sake. What I usually do is I have it on a minute chart, do it like a 2, 5, and 10. You can play with it, like I said. Colors, let's go green, and let's go turquoise. Even though there's a turquoise one already. There's a red one already. Okay, let's go orange. Okay, so I mean, it's just different speeds at which the stochastic moves. Obviously, here we look for a confluence of of signals. So if all of them are over this line, that's a strong signal. Okay. Here, for example, not all of them are under, and therefore in this case I wouldn't have bought here. But then over here, maybe I would have. Also, if my fundamentals line up. For me, it's not only about indicators, but that's a whole nother story. But that's in case you want to add a couple, you want to merge a couple of indicators together. So I'm just going to remove this. Delete indicator window. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Now, in terms of your EAs, if you want to use them, it's the same concept. You open it here and you drag. As you can see here, I already have a MACD EA. Now, there's a sad face because auto trading is not enabled, and I also have to do a few other things. So it's sad. So what I have to do is I have to go enable auto trading, and here it's happy. Okay. Excuse me. Now, if it's not a happy face, what you have to do is you have to right click. You have to go expert advisors. You have to say properties, and here it will usually be unticked. Okay, it will look like this usually. Okay, let's just show you. He's sad. Okay, so now what we do is right click, like we said before, expert advisors, properties, allow live trading, allow DLL imports, click OK, and we're happy. Okay, so now say for example you download your EA from FXCM apps and you want to test it out and you enjoy it. Now what you'll have to do is when you download it, this goes for an indicator as well. Okay, so you'll have to download it obviously, then you'll go file. Okay, you'll say open data folder. Okay, then you'll go into MQL4, which is the language that MT4 uses. So VBA, similar to what Excel uses. And that's actually why MT4 is so big, is because it's like one of the oldest platforms and it's used for guys who like to script their own things, their own indicators and stuff. But say we've downloaded our indicator or our EA. If it's an indicator, we'll paste it in indicators. If it's an expert advisor, we'll paste it in expert advisors. Then once we've pasted it, we close that window. We'll have to close MT4 and we'll have to log back in. And then once you've logged back in, you'll see it here in your expert advisors or under your indicators. Okay, you'll see it in your navigator. Now, let's move on to so another important thing, sorry, before I forget, is that as you can see, the time here is not correct. This is obviously because it doesn't link to our time zone in South Africa. So what you can do is you can download a time zone indicator on MyFXCM apps, and then you can install it onto Metatrader 4, and literally it'll just give you the right time. So I mean, for the time zone here, you will need an indicator for that. That's Metatrader 4. So I mean, a little hurdle, nothing major. Okay, now in terms of your swaps, your commissions, and your spreads, we discussed the spreads before. That's 1/10. Now your commissions and your spreads and your margin, actually, these are also very important. So now you can't see your margin before you open your trade. You can only see it afterwards. It's a little bit of a setback. In terms of Metatrader 4, it's kind of what we've looked to cater for in our trading station platform. But yeah, I mean, that's just one of those things. Now, regarding swap, what swap is, it's a rollover or an interest rate that you incur for holding a position overnight. And you either incur it or you receive it based on the position that you hold. And unfortunately, you can't see whether you incur it or whether you receive it on Metatrader 4 before you place your trade. That's another thing that we look to cater for on Trading Station. But like I said, it's just one of those things on Metatrader 4. Okay, now let's just go to the ruler or the cursor crosshair, which is also quite handy. Here you can see it gives you horizontal and vertical lines, just for better reading the graph. Now if you click and you move it, you'll see that you have three sets of numbers. The first set is the amount of periods. So as you can see here, at the moment it's 1. As soon as I move to the next candlestick, it's 2. The next one 3, etc. So obviously each candlestick is 30 minutes because we're on a 30-minute chart. So with the crosshair, for example, now we're looking at 4 times 30, which is our time frame. So the next set is your pips, and it's not 123 pips. It's again like the spread, you have to divide it by 10. So this is actually 13 pips right now. And then obviously the third number is your rate. An important one, I like to use it a lot. Control F is the hotkey. We'll go through some cool hotkeys in a moment. But yes, it's a good tool. Now, if you're adding Fibonacci, for example, we do have information on Fibonacci on our site. We have webinars for them as well, for that as well. But I'm just going to run through because a lot of people actually have problems removing it or even adding it. So ideally you want to go from the highest point to the lowest point or vice versa. This is just how you draw your Fibonacci. I like to draw it from left to right because it's historical data. So this is what it's based on. Okay. Now if you notice and you click on it and you say delete, you can spam it as much as you want. It's not going to work. Let's just add like a vertical line as well, just to give another idea of how to do it. Okay, I've clicked it. I'm spamming delete, nothing's going on. Okay, this can get super frustrating, and it's actually quite a simple method of getting rid of it. So you just right click on your graph, you say object list, which control B, okay. Another very nice hotkey, objects list. And here you see the Fibonacci and the vertical line. So say you want to remove just the Fibonacci, you click it and you say delete, and it's gone. Obviously you can still see that my vertical line is still here. I want to get rid of him as well. So I select it and I say delete. And we're good. Okay, so that's adding and deleting, things that aren't so intuitive. Auto scrolling we went through, where if you want to go backwards in time and see some of the prices, you'll have to just click this so it doesn't bring you back to the current price. Now you can see here that I have a red line. This is the asking price of the chart. Okay, so whenever you're placing your trades, what you do is you're looking at the graph which is relative to your trade. Okay, so now if I want to go and find the asking price, I'll just say properties, common, and you'll say show ask line. I've just said no, and this is my standard line. Okay. I'm sorry, just a quick, guys. There's a question here. How do I retain the crosshair without it returning to arrow default after I click the window? So I mean, honestly, I'm not sure how it works, to be honest. But as I said, my hotkey is Control F. So I mean, whatever happens, like if I misclick, I'll just say Control F and I've got it. It's quite quick. So I mean, maybe it doesn't answer your question entirely, because I'm not sure even if MT4 has that functionality. But at least they've made it, quite easy to get back to with the hotkey. So I mean, I hope that at least helps you with your trading. I know it makes things a lot easier for me. Awesome, great, good to help. So yeah, so that's pretty much adding the ask price to the chart. I'll go through it again. This is especially useful when you want to see your spread, not only over here on your symbol watch, but you may want to just see how it fluctuates. This line here, it should be white here across the whole graph. Sometimes it does disappear like that, but I'm just going to go add you the asking price line again. So we right click, we say properties, and we go say ask line, and we say okay. And you can see here the spread is very small, and that's one thing that we're actually very happy with at FXCM. We have very tight spreads, very tight commissions. But yeah, anyway, so that's the ask line. Now if you want to go and see a report, you have to go to your account history. So we'll go, or you can actually find it on MyFXCM. So those of you who are live clients, you know what MyFXCM is. If you don't know what MyFXCM is, it's a client portal which you have available to you, so that once you're managing your accounts, you can fund it there, you can deposit, you can see everything there, and obviously you can see your account history there. But if you're too lazy, or if you kind of don't have the time, or you're just really involved in your trades at the moment and stuck to your platform, what I would do is just go account history. I say right click, okay. I choose my time frame, okay, and then I'll say okay, and then I'll right click again and I'll say save report, okay. Or I can say all history, or the last month, or the last 3 months. Okay. Now, if you're not getting a big enough history, well, not a big enough, but like a long-term history, you can just go into, like I said, into MyFXCM. It'll at least give you longer time frames. So I mean that's catered for as well. But that's pretty much it in terms of the platform. I will run some hotkeys, for you. Now to open a new order, it's F9. So you just click F9 and it's there. I don't use this one so much, but some people might be in a rush to trade. and it's quite easy, F9. My main one, like I said earlier, is Control F. It's just that allows me to manage everything properly. Now, obviously, like we said before, the delete button, it's not something to be trusted. So rather just go right click and say objects list. Obviously it's not here now because there's no objects, but you'll see the objects list and then you'll remove it. F1 is to open the user guide if you need any problems, but like I said, we're always available to open, to discuss anything that you may need. Now, in terms of the grid, I know this gets to me especially, and that's actually why I've removed the grid. But now if you see, many of you guys might have something looking, what happened here? It's because I've also removed it, I've double removed it. Okay, so you can kind of see here something will look like this. For me, this hurts my eyes, and it's really not productive for me at all. Now, if you want to just change the color of your grid, you right click, you say properties, and you go change the grid color. For me, the grid is just, it bothers me. So either what I will do, what I did in this case, is I just made it the same color as the background, or you can actually just, let me just make it normal again, or you can just say Control G and it removes it for you. This for me is so much better. But yeah, again, preference. Now, as you can see here at the bottom, we have, this is what we have is our volumes, okay? This is how much of the currency is traded at the particular interval, okay? In order to see this, you say Control L, okay? Some strategies involve it, other strategies don't. I personally, based on how I trade, I don't really use it, but when it's necessary, it's easily available, just Control L. So it's very straightforward. Obviously, you need to know these hotkeys, and then it's only straightforward. But that's why I'm discussing it. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much the webinar for Advanced MT4. Just some things to remember: that you can't see your margin before you open your trade. You don't see your rollover before you open your position. You can't disable hedging, and remember the lot sizes and the pip deviations are very important there as well. If you do have any questions, I'm going to open the floor to you guys on the chat. Otherwise, if you kind of want to look at it first and then have any questions after that, like I said, my email is gmladenov@fxcm.za.com. You can always let me know there as well. But for now, I'm just going to let you guys, give you 2 minutes just to ask any questions that you may have. If there's nothing, I'm going to end the webinar, and I wish you luck with your trading. Have a good day, and until soon. The email, it's gmladenov@fxcm.za.com. Let me just actually bring it back onto the screen. Can you see it? So it's gmladenov@fxcm.za.com. gmladenov@fxcm.za.com. Any questions? Awesome. Have a good day, guys, and we'll see you when we see you. Have a good day.